How's it going? Thank you for tuning in to the Stay Fligh podcast brought to you by Southern Crop. I'm your host, Baby J. We have a special guest today, the unofficial mayor of Meridian here, Mr. Wayne Williams. I'll let him give a little bit of a background and introduction. I know that you have a couple different ties to the community, to say the least, and businesses.
Yeah, actually, the title you're speaking of, Meridian's first female mayor, Miss Sherry Berry, she passed away not too many days ago, but she done me the underground mayor of the city. She did the sword thing.
She knighted you, the underground mayor?
Yeah, that was back when she was mayor of the city, and I admire that. So, but yeah, what was the other question?
I was going to say that if you just want to give a highlight of your background in Meridian, I know that you're heavily involved in Legally Rooted, the first dispensary to open in Meridian.
Yes.
And then you've owned Mums, you said, for we're right at 28 years?
February 1st, 96, so 28 years coming up.
Wow. Man. I know for people that aren't familiar with Mums is the Meridian underground music scene, really, to say the least. It's more than just a shop.
Yeah,
it really
is. Community all around. Mom's been there 28 years, coming up first of the month. We do live music over there every 3 to 4 weeks. Well, we actually do open mic night on Thursdays. Golly, man, this is a little bit of everything. Do pool tournaments over there, and twister tournaments and beard tournaments and all kind of fun stuff. We have open mic every Thursday, meet the artist on Monday and Tuesdays, art night, all kind of different stuff going on.
Yeah, and then obviously like holiday stuff. I know y'all had the Halloween costume contest every single year.
Yes, 27th year we did that this year, and we usually have about 50 people dressed up come and participate. Yep. So it's pretty cool.
Along with probably one of the largest vinyl selections I've ever seen inside of one store. I mean,
bought out 2 radio stations.
That's how y'all got all of those vinyls?
A lot of them. We buy them every day.
Yeah. No, it's wild. I remember the first time I walked into Mom's, I was like, this is not what I was expecting to see in Meridian. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm pleasantly surprised that we can actually, have a good selection of records for everybody.
So how do you feel like that's, or just kind of a general question, like that setting or that scene almost, because it is more than a shop, really, when you look at it. It's like its own community, like you said. When you said, okay, I've been in business for, I guess at that time, 26 years with Mums. Now, I know that you've been a huge advocate for the legal cannabis program for quite some time.
Yeah.
How did you transition that into, all right, well, let's open a dispensary?
Well, over the decades we've been at Mom, people have always said that, we're going to get legal medical or just all around legal one day. What are you going to do, Wayne? I was like, we're just going to wait and see what happens. And when it happens, I'm going to take it by the reins and try to, get involved. So medical marijuana came around, and I had a building over on 6th Street there next to the credit union. And it was empty, just sitting there. So we, me and my wife and my other 2 partners, Michael and Ashley, we all sat down and decided to get into the cannabis industry.
Yep.
And I guess the 27th of this month will be exactly 1 year of selling medical cannabis with the actual plant. We were the first to open in the city, county. Got our license on the first day that the licenses were available.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was like 7 licenses given out or something that day, and we were one of them. What was the other questions?
No, I was just asking about how we got the transition, because I mean, y'all's store was the first store that I went into when I got my card. Mm-hmm. One is y'all's education within the store is between Ashley, Stacy, Michael, William, your sons being in the stores as well. It's like it's obviously a family run operation with almost everyone part of y'all's family,
Yes.
in one sense or another. But it's also the level of education that y'all provide to your patients is, second to none, to say the least.
Thank you. It's what we really, really wanted to do because, anybody can, just, but yeah, we wanted to be as true and correct and helpful as we can in the industry.
With that being said, have you seen any like big takeaways since the program's come lifted up? Like either patients that you've seen this turn their lives around, or
A lot. Yeah. I've seen dozens of patients' lives change, altered dramatically because they can actually operate without being in pain, or they're getting better sleep, or they're not so anxious. It's been amazing. I not that I didn't have a belief in the product, but it just cemented my belief in the product because you know seeing these people come in just ornery, not feeling good, and then over the course of time, them get better and better. It's just been nice. Plus, I'm a patient personally,
yep, myself
and
included.
I've noticed big improvement in a lot of areas that I wanted improvements. So that's good.
Well, do y'all? I know when y'all first got into the game, y'all were, from the conversations I've had with Michael, y'all have looked at processing, cultivation, and y'all landed on dispensary. Do you think that y'all expand y'all's horizon beyond dispensaries, or maybe expand the dispensary footprint?
Well, we're always open to anything that's gonna, you know,
Help
be the
expand the
future.
program.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. What advances have you seen in the program, or what has opened up in the program just over the last year that you've been happy about? Because I know that it started off pretty small market, and then overnight it feels like it boomed, and everyone was involved in the program.
Yeah, I've been really pleased with the program as a whole. In a lot of ways, um, the grows. There's so many. There's I don't know what the number is to put that out there, but it's a lot. And then the quality of product, the variety of products. I mean, going from your flour, your edibles, which is candies and gummies and uh, syringes full of oil. I mean, there's just so many products. I mean, I'm pleased. Price is going down. That's really good.
That's a big thing. Yeah, that's a huge thing.
Tremendous because we are in one of the poorest states in the union, and price is, very important whenever you're broke. You're living out in the woods and need some medicine.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's like something like the biggest thing as well, is like we discuss here internally at Southern Crop is, while we do want to produce the highest quality product, we also want to produce the most accessible product.
Yeah.
And price, and like you just said, being one of the poorest states in the union, price limits accessibility for a lot of these patients.
Yeah.
Which I know that that's something that y'all focus on at Legally Rooted, as well as passing on all savings to customers.
Yeah.
Which I've seen firsthand sitting in y'all's dispensary, being a customer of y'all's dispensary. Y'all have a great rewards program lined out to help patients with discounts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I was pleasantly surprised also by the fact of the quality, how quickly you can tell that a lot of people have some experience, maybe from the backwoods.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot of growers out there that people are really excited about getting into the grow industry for sure.
Yeah, and it's been cool to see that y'all carry a large representation of all growers inside the state of Mississippi. I think y'all carry just about everyone.
We try.
So that's why I've always been a big fan of going into Legally Rooted. There's always something new to try. I think that I saw the hot sauce at y'all's store for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that are interested in that, and I'm not. I like hot sauce and everything, but I personally don't know that I'll be using THC hot sauce on my food. So I wouldn't be a patient for that, but there's people out there that would, so we might as well, have that available.
No, agreed, 100%. What products have you really enjoyed? Maybe not getting too specific with
Bath bombs.
names, but yeah, general.
Bath bombs are really nice. My wife uses them often. those things are really good. I'm a fan. As a patient, I don't have a problem letting people know. I mean, as a patient, I've used all the products. Well, there's a couple I haven't used. I haven't used the suppositories.
Yeah, but I think you and I both are still pending the testing on those.
Yeah, I'll leave that for somebody else or another day or something other. But the syringes I found, those are pretty neat, and wasn't familiar with the syringes before. So, basically squeeze out, yeah, I like those.
Yeah, I've enjoyed those. I think we just put our first syringes in y'all's store this past week.
And my wife was telling me last night you got a click on the bottom where you can twist it and it clicks. And
yeah, and then it shoots out the cabinet. You get that precise amount.
In that. Yeah,
I think there's definitely gonna be a little bit of a learning curve with this being a new type of hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be honest, like the first time I got it, I thought the one that I got was broken when I was testing it with water and stuff like that. I was like, okay, how do I use this? And I called someone at the facility. I was like, dude, I think I got the only broken one that we have. And they were like, well, did you twist the base? Blah, blah. And I was like, hold on.
The base. Yeah. That makes a difference. I found out the syringes, you warm them up in your hand and you squeeze it and it comes out real easy. I put it on my back, on my finger and scrape it off on the back of my teeth.
Yeah.
And I just rinse with tea or whatever and swallow it down.
Yeah, I think that's like the best way. And it's funny because, well, tell me, is my experience with it is like when you're using a syringe or an oil, like a straight oil, the effects kind of kick in a little bit faster than like a traditional gummy would.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've seen, at least.
Yeah, I like them. I mean, yeah, I'm not. I take gummies, for my insomnia every night, but the oil, the syringe, I like that better than the gummies.
Mm-hmm. Well, how does it feel to have not only yourself involved in the cannabis program, but having your family kind of involved in it as a whole? Because like I said earlier, y'all are kind of a family-run operation.
Yeah, it's out of my household, me and my wife are two of the four partners, and then our oldest son was working there, but he's got a full-time job somewhere else at one of the big hospitals, and he was helping us get the business open. Somebody that we know was a hard worker, somebody that we didn't have to, do a lot of training with other than just learning. And I think he's pretty much retired himself.
Retired from the dispensary life.
Yeah, the holidays, I think he was doing. And now my partners, one of their younger brother, Will, works there. So it is family, all of us. And I'm pretty sure we'll probably get more family as time goes on, as they get older.
Yep.
Got to be 21.
Exactly.
To actually work. My oldest is 24. So.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's a really neat, I guess, concept, or like, having your whole family involved in the program itself is like really cool, because you see a lot of these people open dispensaries. They have to hire a lot of, outside people. You see people coming in and out. But with y'all, it's like everyone's on the same page at all times. Everyone knows exactly what's going on pretty much at all times.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just with the family dynamic and just communication around it is just like, that everyone can be, you don't have to worry about anything going awry, or hey, like, I'm sorry, I can't cover the shift, or hey, I can't come in today. It's, you probably already know, but 2 days beforehand what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, it's really tight, and everybody looks out for everybody, and sometimes bring extra food in.
Yep.
Crock pot. Make a big old giant pot of coffee for anybody to have. Donuts.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
Just, inside, for staff, taking care of everybody.
But that's also cool because you know that your family's been in Meridian for so long. Y'all have such a deep ties to the community. Is that y'all probably already knew, the majority of patients as they walked in the door. I'm sure.
We were truly blessed. My wife and I, in my opinion, we've carried a ton of patients, which were customers at Meridian Underground Music over to Legally Rooted. You know, Obviously, that's about as far as education goes on who the people are, because we don't talk about patients. But
Of course,
it's helped me a lot be able to conversate with everybody, because it's the conversations carried on from 20 years ago. The cannabis plant, into the medical conversation, and it's really awesome.
That's awesome to hear, because like that's actually something that's really cool to hear, because that you're seeing someone that you talked to for the past 20 years now finally a patient and able to be in part of the program legally. So
Yeah, a lot of them are like, man, we knew this was going to come around one day. We expected you would be involved. It's like, I hoped I would be involved. It's a lot of work to be involved.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of work. And that's like the other side of it that like no one really talks about as much. Everyone wants to talk about the wins and the successes of it. But at the end of the day, like this is a very it's heavily regulated. So you have to make sure you're compliant, which everyone's done a good job of for the most part. And second is it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work to know about all the cultivators in the state, be able to tell patients all the key facts about, hey, this is the product that they're putting out, all the key facts about what the product should be doing, what ailments they can treat, and just keeping yourself educated on new products coming out on the market. Seeing feels like almost every day, which I know is a challenge, but I know that y'all have been very successful at doing that.
It's fun, really. I mean, it's kind of like you're not really doing work whenever you kind of enjoy what you're doing, because it's fun to learn about cannabis. It's fun to learn about all the different terpenes. It's fun to hang out with friends, old friends, patients. It's fun to. I mean, so it's a lot of work, but if you love what you do, you're not really working a whole lot.
Yep, that's right. That's right. That's what I was telling someone. They were like asking me about it. That's not in the program itself, and I was telling them, I was like, yeah, there's a ton of work because you're working in a startup company inside of a startup industry, and it's all brand new and everything's shifting every day. But at the same time, the subject matter itself is so interesting and fun that you kind of forget that you're working sometimes.
Oh yeah, and it's easy to do in this industry.
Yep. And the people you meet, that's what really makes a difference, is going to all the networking events, meeting people like yourself and people from different parts of the state.
Yeah, it's just very awesome. A little heart wrenching when you lose a patient. Had that happening, here.
Yeah.
Over the past 12 months, and you lose them one or two. But other than that, making new friends. I mean, it's emotional because people come in hurting, or they come in this, that, or the other, and you want to help them. And some people come in sad, or some people come in excited. They just got something positive to tell you. They didn't hurt, or they got a good night's sleep. I mean, it's a rewarding. It's fun. It's rewarding. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, I cannot agree more with you on that. It's rewarding and hard work, but it's awesome. It's great to be a part of.
Oh yeah, we're trying to do something cool, like collecting the jars at Meridian Underground Music. We're collecting all the little tubes. You get the pre-rolls in jars without marijuana in it. Obviously, people bring their cannabis jars clean, and then they dump them in a bin, and then artists or anybody who wants to do creative stuff can come and get the jars, and they can paint them, or make art, whatever. Art.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's like a cool way of like recycling the jars themselves as well.
upcycling. Yeah.
upcycling, and then creating beautiful art out of it.
It could be art, and like somebody that's not an artist, or they're like, man, I needed 4 of those jars to put my buttons in for my sewing. Well, there's 4 jars, you can come and grab out of there free, instead of buying them at the dollar store or something. I mean, they're just all kind of uses for them. And I go through so many jars and pre-roll things, I hate to throw them in the trash. I know that other people are like that too.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everything that we've gotten to discuss today. I mean, it's always a good thing to have someone like yourself come and speak on these types of podcasts, because you've seen it from 20 years ago evolve all the way to today.
Yeah, it's been neat seeing the pipes change and grow. And I've been out doing California and Nevada scene on and off over the years, and watched when dabs become a thing. I was there when they started that. It's really cool.
How do you feel? I mean, you and I both know just like the music scene in general has always been a huge proponent for cannabis.
Yes.
Do you feel like I know this for a fact, the crowd that you bring into Moms has been a big advocate for cannabis.
Oh yeah, medically for sure.
Where else have you seen kind of like the music scene and cannabis tie into one another outside of just like the people that you attract into your store? Like through music, have you seen a lot of musicians partaking in the program? Or
yeah, actually, I got a lot of friends that are musicians, like in out west and whatnot, and there's a lot of them that actually have bands that are performing, and promoting cannabis. I don't know about naming any of right on the podcast here, but there's a bunch that come to mind.
Yeah. Do you think that? Do you feel like, I know that we've had a successful year in 2023 with the program growing. Do you think that we're going to have even more growth here this year?
I sure hope so. I do expect it, really. I mean, we're just now getting the patient load that we should have had pretty much inside the first month. It just took a long time to gather up the thousands of patients, that Mississippi's finally gathered.
Yeah. What do you think has been the difference for that? Is like just people being aware of the program, or do you think it's just become easier to get into the program in terms of like the technical side of it, like logging onto the computer and signing up and everything? Or what do you think it is?
Education. I mean, Mississippi is not a high-tech state. Getting word out to people that maybe don't get off the farm but once a month, or they don't come into town but once a week. Educating these people, it's sometimes difficult. It's got to be osmosis or word of mouth. It's just got to trickle into the woods.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny. I was like in Oklahoma this past month, and there was these really, really small towns, and the smallest towns that I could even think of maybe had like one diner, but they all had a dispensary in them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. I was like, who's shopping at these dispensaries? And now that you're saying that, it's, after talking to people around town and stuff, it was all the farmers, but they didn't get into the program until years after it was already set up, because they just didn't know about it. Because like you said, they didn't come off the farm.
Yeah.
You never really know until you know.
Yeah, I had one business owner wheel up 90 something years old, pop out of there, high, nice quality SUV, think of Land Rover or something, popped out, came in dispensary, grabbed their medicine, popped back up in that Land Rover like a little 20-something-year-old, wheel off again. I'm like going, did that just happen? Oh my God. So yeah, it's kind of neat to see the variety of people and how they operate with the medicine.
Have you seen anyone in town? And obviously we won't be any too specific, but have you seen anyone in town or that you knew previous to the program, like, in the past 20 years, that maybe wasn't a huge advocate for cannabis, or maybe was anti-cannabis,
Oh,
flip
yeah.
over and start to be part of the program?
Absolutely. For some people, it's just a matter of fact of it becoming legal. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, and it's like 5 years ago, devil's lettuce, now it's legal. They see, oh, wow, okay, it's just for a lot of people, that's the switch, just being legal. But for, a lot of people, they just wanted to, that some people, maybe they weren't ill. Maybe they got ill and they tried the plant and they realized that, oh, it really is a medicine, it's helpful, so that way, uh, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're good, but I mean, you're 100% right. I've seen myself, like I've seen people that I know that have always shunned the cannabis plant,
Yeah.
get ill, get recommended to cannabis, try it, and then turn around and be one of the biggest advocates you've ever seen.
It does help people with pain and sleep and all these other things, and I use those two because that's where I relate. And it does help me sleep, and it does help with the pain, and I am very excited that it is available.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that the state, whatever happens over the next couple of months happens, but I am hopeful that the state will expand on what can be treated here in Mississippi, because I think there is other areas where cannabis can be very, very helpful, like anxiety and stuff like that.
Absolutely, our program's doing good. I'm really excited about it. It's got a few hiccups, but I think it's been that way most all the states.
I think that we're trending in a better direction early on than a lot of states did early on.
I agree. And, we probably, when the patient, and then I know the count's going to double, triple, over the next few years because education, will do, I think the state's program will do well.
Yeah. Well, I know that we're getting ready to close it out here, but before we close it out, I did want to ask you, do you have a favorite terpene right now?
Carophyllene, pinene, I guess. Pinene, yeah, carophyllene, I guess.
Yeah, carophyllene. I think helping with just relaxation, calmness, stuff like that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yep.
Don't want to be anxious. Some people, man, I smoked and got anxious. It's like maybe you smoked one that gets you up and going. You probably need to go down and relax.
That's one of the biggest things I've learned this year is there's actually I only had a couple experiences in my previous life and other markets where I've been like, okay, maybe I don't want to smoke that specific terpene.
Yeah.
I've had that happen a couple times already here.
Yeah. Stay away from the particular one or double up on the other.
Yeah. But with the quality being so good and the THC levels being, where they need to be from a medical standpoint, that's bound to happen. You're bound to have something that, hey, maybe that doesn't agree with me, or maybe this agrees a little bit better with me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's medicine. You have to try it out. And that's what I like about strains. You find a strain you like, you can stick with it.
Exactly. And that all goes hand in hand with what we were talking about earlier. Is that educational piece, is understanding the terpenes, understanding the strains, understanding the medicine as a whole. And then as you go further in the program, you get a little bit more in line with what exactly you like versus what you don't like.
Yo, indica, in the couch.
Yep. I'm the same way. Well, Wayne, I appreciate you coming on. I really do. It's been a pleasure getting to speak with you and getting to talk to the audience. I know that they're probably having a lot of takeaways, and they're probably going to start saying, hey, maybe I need to educate myself a little bit more about this whole cannabis program.
Yeah, I mean, find me or drop by Meridian Underground Music, and say, hey, drop off your medical containers. Drop by Legally Rooted Dispensary. They'll answer. They'll do whatever they can within the confines of the program.
I wanted to mention before we end, what Wayne mentioned earlier to those listening is the bath bombs. Those, along with other topical products that are not ingestible, are legal for anyone over the age of 21 inside of Mississippi, whether you're a medical card holder or not.
Yeah.
So if you need a bath bomb or a lotion or anything like that, definitely go by Legally Rooted and ask about it. I've seen a lot of success myself with muscle spasms and just achiness with bath bombs and lotions. So
yeah, they work well.
And always go by Meridian Underground Music if you're ever in Meridian. you'll be happy to see it, to say the least. It's a wonderful store and definitely a scene more than anything else.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Joe.
Of course. Well, I appreciate it, Wayne. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. But we'll call that a wrap. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. You can roll that up and smoke it. Thank you, guys. Awesome.
Yay.
Have you seen this yet?
No.
Look at this. I know that y'all have a couple of these books in y'all's store.
Yeah, they had like a ton of them over there by the thing, and like a guy the other day, it's like actually had one of our patients steal one.
One of y'all's books?
It was sick, but you know, he's got cameras everywhere, but the poor guy goes up there and gets it. He's like, shirt, walks out. My partner Michael, he calls. We look, find his number, call him. It's like, would you like to bring that book back? And he's like, yes, sir. He brought the book right back.